Alright, hello. Welcome to another recorded lecture for English 1060 Online. Today I just want to do a brief tutorial for the library databases, specifically for the academic journals. Because obviously what we're concerned with in any sort of research capacity is finding legitimate sources. Google Scholar, of course, can be helpful, but we just have to be careful of making sure all of our sources are peer-reviewed. And so all the journals that we'll be looking at are peer-reviewed. Now, if you go as I did, on our homepage, you go to library, we can access all the databases through our Brave account, right, our Brave web account, and username and password. Obviously, always look for books, and so, our library catalog is online. And of course, I recommend doing title rather than, kind of keyword, because usually you can find them more exact. But, again, you always want to think about books for future essays. So definitely feel, obviously use the library catalog. We don't have a huge library, but not a lot of our books on certain subjects are as recent as they could be. But we have a decent amount, and we do have some ebooks too. And so what I'm doing here, and let me just back up again because I'm just kind of automatic pilot. What we're really looking at, especially for academic sources, we want to look at the electronic resources, and there are a variety of ways to get to this page. So, use whatever you used to. What you'll see here is, of course, the database is arranged by title. For specific fields, you could always look up which ones will work for a variety of topics. Obviously, we don't have every imaginable subject, but this is a good one. If you know what kind of topic or field your issue falls under, always hit one of these. The let's see, yeah, actually, oh, okay, it's just a gray Dropbox. Huh. Okay, let's. Is everyone else having a problem seeing the screen? Let's see. Did the box disappear except for the one on the left? Oh, technology here. We could get a really wide range of material. So the first one I want to show you is Jstor. And Jstor, again, is a very useful one because it has a lot of different types of journals. So we're talking about journals from sociology, psychology, English, chemistry, biology, all sorts of fields. And so, again, since I'm off campus, I'm going to have to access through all the different things. And actually, I always forget my banner ID. So, hold on for a second. That's one problem with this school. I still have no clue what my banner ID is. I always have it on my phone just in case I ever need it, which is pretty much a lot. So let me just type that in here for you. Ah, damn. Okay. For Jstor, one of the reasons why I always suggest using Jstor and Project Muse is these options here. You could do full text, right? So what you want to do, obviously you type in keywords, you're used to this with the any kind of search engine. What I'd be curious with, and so let's say we're looking for, well, let's kind of do it somewhat, because obviously I don't want to do the research for you for essay one, but for any kind of topic. So let's just take on plagiarism, right? So obviously the word plagiarism and all that stuff, and so we could do a variety of ways, right? What we could do, because I think some of the stuff is not on plagiarism, but what we could do is let's take a different word. Let's look at because obviously I don't want to do the research for you. Let's just do simple things. Let's do more complex issue, right? Let's look at kind of children soldiers, right? So what I'm going to do, okay, so instead of putting just in children soldiers, right? What I can do is put an asterisk here, right? So what I'm going to do is, instead of writing out children soldiers, I'm going to put child asterisk. Now, I'd be curious, everyone in the room, why am I putting the asterisk? Because this is important. Some people don't know this, and so because I know my other class, just today, we were doing this in my face-to-face class, and they didn't hear about this either. What am I doing when I put an asterisk to interrupt the word? Why would I do that? Anybody know? Oh yeah, good guess, Ashley. It does. Yeah. Do you know specifically? Let's hear from Jessica. Okay, yeah, good. Basically, you're exactly right, Ashley. Instead of just now searching for children soldiers, it will be, maybe child soldiers, children, all all sorts. It will look for child soldiers, children soldiers, right? And so we could use this, right? And when we search, right, well, that asterisk there. And so, for example, like let's say you're doing any of the plagiarism ones, right? You could do obviously plagiar and then have the asterisk, because that could be plagiarist, plagiarism, plagiarizes, right? And so all those words, right, that instead of just searching one, it'll come up, and see here how it got children, child, right, child soldiers. It's important if you're not sure, or if there are kind of numerous terms, right? So there might be child soldier, children soldier, so, and you could see here how everything's highlighted, right? Children who, child soldier, children are. So it looks at both, both words, right? And so that could really help out in terms of all sorts of parameters. If I'm looking for a specific, if I'm looking for a specific idea, right, it will help me, right, to generate more responses, right, and maybe even more specific ones. And so the same kind of aspect here. What would, let's go back here. And so what would be the difference then if I just put in quotes and I put in children soldiers? So Samantha, Ashley, Jessica, why would I put something in quotes now? What would be the reason? Yeah, exactly, right. It's going to look for those two words not separately, but together, right, as a phrase. And so good. Yeah, I'm glad you know that, because that's important. Exactly, you would get wording for that specific phrase, right? Because technically, if I leave off the quotation marks, it's searching for the word children, the word soldiers, the phrase itself, and so it's searching for numerous things. If I all of a sudden put the quotes on it, now it will just look for children soldiers. The problem too is, even I could even put an asterisk here, right? So we could get soldier, soldiers, right? And so it will produce different results. And see, notice how when I put, right, that, because if you were noticing, a lot of times it actually just said child soldier. So if we do another review, we get some of the same ones, right? But we only get, look at how we only get two results. And so again, what we want to do is just experiment with all sorts of phrasings. Just don't rely on one, rely on the asterisks, rely on the quotes, rely on no quotes. So you just want to always constantly switch up, how you use the search engines, because again, they are based on, percentages of word usage. And so sometimes it's more helpful to do the phrase, sometimes it's more helpful to just look at the uh, words themselves, and use the asterisk accordingly. Then the second one is another kind of diverse database, and that's called Project Muse, and it's really the same thing, right? And so these have full text, which is important, so you don't have to worry about getting abstracts. Everything you get here will, of course, be peer-reviewed, academic journals, and then, they will be full text, and that's always important for me. If you notice, of course, too, the research areas, you still have science, social sciences, philosophy, music, religion, literature, so you have all sorts of important and diverse fields of study, and so the same goes. So let's just kind of do the same thing we did here, right? And then I'm going to put my little asterisk too, right? And so what I like about this one, it actually kind of gives you options as well, just like any search engine would, which you don't get sometimes with Jstor and the others. And so, especially if you're not sure of the phrasing, right? It will help out using this result. And again, full text you could download either a PDF or a web-based link, and it gets into all sorts of very important and look at how recent everything is: 2007, 2006, right? 2013, 2011, 2011. And so that's what's good about Jstor and Project Muse, because they have very specific and very new sources. They have a lot of, they really keep the journal articles up to date. If you look at, how many here, we have over 16,000, so, we're dealing with a huge amount of resources. And so always look at Jstor and Project Muse, especially for the papers that we do. It's going to be a lot easier sometimes to use these two, and because it'll be quicker. The last one that we'll look at just briefly is Ebscohost, and Ebscohost is a good one for a lot of general knowledge. The only problem with Ebscohost is that wait, do we have it anymore? We used to. Because I was going to say the only... Oh, no, here we go. Ebooks. Okay, well, that's just books, though. I just want... maybe we could get through here. We used to have a separate Ebscohost one just for journals. So what I want here... stupid thing again. And so what I want here... So with Ebscohost, if it takes us to the proper one... Okay, so this is still book collection. Let's see if we could get that. Because what I like about, and this is what I like about Ebscohost, is you could pull from not only Ebscohost, but all these other interconnected databases. So we could look at Academic Search Complete, we could look at Health Source, we could look at mental, so there's a LGBT Life, there's a lot of interdisciplinary crossovers we could do if you're looking at very important interdisciplinary approaches. So always think about Ebscohost too, and this is good because this will give you ebooks, which is good, because again, for the research project, I want you to always be using all sorts of documents, books, journal articles, newspaper articles, everything that's very relevant, and of course, as unbiased as possible. So I just want to take you briefly through, and then same thing here with you can look by author, title, all that stuff, and same rules apply. Quoting, non-quoting, using asterisks, right, and then looking at just the best way to generate all sorts of current reliable sources. The good thing about going through these databases, unlike going through, like, let's say Google Scholar or just any kind of search engine, is everything that's here is peer reviewed or peer edited, so hopefully there's a less likely chance that you'll get misinformation and biased information, and these are mostly, if not all, academically based sources. So even though Ebscohost does link up to a few newspaper sites, everything should be pretty legitimate and peer reviewed, so you wouldn't really need to worry about much of that. And so obviously, if you have any questions, always email. If not, enjoy the weekend and good luck finishing up Essay 1.